Welcome back to the channel Coins Master, coin collectors, history lovers, and treasure hunters. If you've ever searched your change jar or found an old coin lying around and wondered if it might be worth something, then get ready, because today's video is about one of the most underappreciated yet valuable coins in modern US history. That's right, we're talking about the 1974 Liberty Roosevelt dime, also famously known as the one-dime coin. This isn't just your average 10-cent piece. Hidden among the billions in circulation lies a rare breed of Roosevelt dimes from 1974 that could be worth over $5,000. That's right, $5, $2.33 to be exact. So sit back, relax, and let's dive deep into the rich history, numismatic significance, and jaw-dropping value of this tiny treasure that might be sitting in your pocket right now. Let's go. To truly understand the 1974 Roosevelt dime, we have to go back to the 1940s, during a time when the United States was in the grip of World War II. In 1945, President Franklin D. Roosevelt passed away. Just months after leading the country through the Great Depression and the Global War, his death sparked a national outpouring of grief. Roosevelt wasn't just any president, he was the only one elected to 4 terms, and his leadership during both domestic and international crises made him a beloved figure. Not only that, but he was also a founder of the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio, the disease he himself battled for most of his life. To honor his legacy, the U.S. Mint made a bold move. Just 11 months after his death, they introduced the Roosevelt dime in 1946, replacing the Mercury dime. The design featured Roosevelt's profile on the obverse, while the reverse included a torch, symbolizing liberty, flanked by olive and oak branches, representing peace and strength. This design was simple, symbolic, and powerful, and it's the same design used on the 1974 dime. Now, fast forward to the year 1974. It was a time of political turmoil, economic change, and cultural shifts in the United States. But while Watergate dominated the headlines and inflation gripped the economy, the U.S. Mint was still quietly producing billions of coins for everyday use, including the Roosevelt dime. The 1974 Roosevelt dime was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, No Mint Mark; Denver, D Mint Mark; San Francisco, S Mint Mark. Proof coins only, more than 1.5 billion dimes were struck that year. But not all of them were created equal. While most of these coins circulated for years in pocket change, vending machines, and piggy banks, some were struck with extreme precision, unique mint errors, or preserved in flawless condition. And these coins, well, they're the hidden treasures we're here to talk about today. Let's talk about what makes some of these dimes incredibly valuable, worth $5,233 or even more in some rare cases. First up, condition is everything. In the world of numismatics, a coin's condition is graded on a 70-point scale called the Sheldon scale. Coins that are graded MS-67 or MS-68, that's mint state, are virtually flawless. They show no signs of wear, even under magnification. These are the coins that fetch thousands at auctions. One such 1974 Roosevelt dime in MS-68 full bands condition, meaning the horizontal bands on the torch on the reverse are completely struck and clearly separated, sold for over $5,233 in a professional auction. Why? Because it was one of the finest known examples of its kind. In a sea of billions, a coin like that shines like a diamond. But condition isn't the only factor. Sometimes, mistakes are valuable, at least when it comes to coins. Certain 1974 dimes have been found with striking errors, including off-center strikes, where the image is visibly misaligned, doubled die obverse or reverse, where parts of the design are doubled clipped planchets, where the coin is missing a portion due to miscutting, wrong planchet errors, where the dime is struck on a penny or foreign coin blank. These errors are rare, and collectors go crazy for them. A 1974 dime with a prominent doubled die error can easily fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars, depending on the clarity and severity of the error. Imagine turning a dime into a $1,000 treasure just because it was misprinted. That's the magic of mint errors. By 1974, the U.S. Mint had already stopped using silver in dimes. Since 1965, all dimes were made of copper nickel clad, with an inner core of copper and outer layers of nickel. However, some collectors have reported finding transitional errors, coins mistakenly struck on silver planchets or other metal compositions. If you find a 1974 dime that looks or feels different, don't dismiss it. Test its weight. A normal clad dime weighs 2.27 grams, while a silver one weighs around 2.5 grams. You could be holding something extremely rare. Such anomalies could dramatically increase the coin's value to 5 figures or more. Let's get to the big question: what's it worth? If you have a regular, circulated 1974 Roosevelt dime, it's probably worth 10 cents. Maybe a bit more to a beginner collector, perhaps 25 to 50 cents, depending on condition. But if you have one in uncirculated condition, it could be worth between $3 to $15. And if it's graded MS-67 or higher, with full bands, it could sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars. That top-tier, pristine example we mentioned earlier, graded MS-68 full bands, sold for a jaw-dropping $5,233 at auction. It proves one simple truth: not all coins are created equal. Chapter 7: Why this coin matters in the world of numismatics. The 1974 Roosevelt dime is more than a collectible, it's a piece of American history. It carries the legacy of one of the most iconic U.S. presidents, struck during a turbulent time in our country's past. It represents the evolution of American coinage, the decline of silver, the rise of modern minting technology, and the unpredictable thrill of discovering rare errors or high-grade survivors in common circulation. It's the perfect example of why coin collecting is so exciting. Every coin has a story. Every pocket full of change has the potential to reveal a hidden gem. Final thoughts: check your change, so the next time you get a dime in your change, take a closer look. Flip it over. Examine the details. Look for a 1974 Roosevelt 1 dime. Check the mint mark. Inspect the torch for full bands. Look for mint errors. And above all, protect it if it looks uncirculated, because who knows, you just might be holding a coin that could be worth $5,233, or even more. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more awesome coin stories, values, and history. Coin collectors, treasure hunters, and all lovers of rare U.S. coins. If you're someone who checks your spare change or rolls of dimes hoping to strike it rich, then today's video is for you. Because what we're about to dive into is the story of a tiny coin with big history, big value, and an even bigger surprise: the 1984 D Liberty, 1 dime, Roosevelt dime. At face value, it's just 10 cents. But under the right conditions, it could be worth a jaw-dropping amount of money, up to $99 and beyond. Yes, you heard that right. Just one of these small silver-toned coins could turn out to be a hidden gem hiding in your pocket change. So buckle up, because we're about to explore the fascinating story of the 1984 D Roosevelt dime, its origins, how it ended up in your hands, and why collectors are keeping their eyes peeled for that one rare variation that could be worth a fortune. The Roosevelt dime series is one of the most iconic and longest-running coin series in the history of American coinage. First introduced in 1946, this 10-cent piece was created to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt after his passing in 1945. He wasn't just a revered president, he was also the founder of the March of Dimes, a charitable effort to combat polio. FDR's impact on the American people was profound, and the decision to immortalize him on the dime was a tribute that made sense on every level. The original design was crafted by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the United States Mint. His initials, JS, can be found at the base of Roosevelt's neck on the obverse side. This design has remained relatively unchanged for decades, reflecting the lasting legacy of FDR's leadership and vision. Since 1946, the Roosevelt dime has seen billions of copies minted across the country. But what makes the 1984 D version so special? Let's break it down. In 1984, the Denver Mint produced a staggering number of Roosevelt dimes, over 546 million to be precise. That's right. More than 500 million dimes came out of Denver that year. The D mint mark on the coin, located on the obverse near the date, stands for the Denver Mint, one of the major U.S. mints responsible for coin production. Now, at first glance, the 1984 D Roosevelt dime might look like any ordinary dime in circulation. It has the standard features: the bust of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the front with the word Liberty, the year 1984, and the phrase, "In God We Trust," stamped on it. On the reverse side, we see a torch in the center symbolizing liberty, flanked by olive and oak branches, representing peace and strength. Surrounding these images is the famous inscription, "United States of America," and "1 dime." But here's where things get really interesting. Among the hundreds of millions minted, some 1984 D Roosevelt dimes were struck with unique errors, rare variations, or even uncirculated conditions that elevate their value astronomically. These rarities are what coin collectors, investors, and history buffs dream of finding. You might be asking, how can something that was made in such huge numbers be worth more than face value? Well, here's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about quantity, it's about quality, condition, rarity, and anomalies. And the 1984 D Roosevelt dime checks several of those boxes under the right circumstances. Let's talk about mint errors. Some 1984 D dimes were struck off-center, missing elements, or had double die obverse issues. These minting errors can happen when a coin is misaligned during production or when the die itself has imperfections. Errors like these are rare, incredibly rare, and collectors will pay big bucks to get their hands on them. Then there's condition. A 1984 D Roosevelt dime in circulated condition might only be worth a few cents, or $1 at best. But in uncirculated or mint state, things start heating up. A coin graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC could fetch up to $99 or more in today's collector market. And yes, some specimens have even sold for over $100 in pristine, untouched condition. There's also a high demand for full bands on the reverse torch. This refers to the horizontal bands on the torch that are fully struck and separated, a detail that's often weakly struck, so when it appears clean and sharp, it's considered premium. What's really exciting is that many of these coins are still in circulation today. That means they could be hiding in your change jar, your piggy bank, or even in a roll of coins you pick up from the bank. Millions of 1984 D dimes are still out there, and chances are, you might already have one in your possession. Because so many of these coins were used in everyday transactions, grocery stores, vending machines, parking meters, finding one in mint condition is rare. But that's also what makes the search so thrilling. Imagine finding a 1984 D Roosevelt dime in near-perfect condition tucked away in an old drawer or inside a forgotten coin collection. That's the kind of find that makes your heart race. Let's take a look at the actual marketplace. On coin auction websites, collector forums, and eBay listings, you'll see 1984 D Roosevelt dimes selling for a wide range of prices. Common ones go for pocket change, around 10 to 50 cents. But once you move into the territory of uncirculated coins, error coins, or graded specimens with MS66 or better, that's where you see prices ranging from $50 to $99, and sometimes even more depending on buyer interest. There was even a known sale where a super high-grade example of a 1984 D Roosevelt dime, with a rare die strike and flawless surface, brought in nearly $120 at a numismatic auction. These are not just coins, folks. These are treasures in plain sight. Collectors are always on the lookout for underrated years, and 1984 is one of those sleeper years. It's not often talked about, but smart collectors know that it has potential. The combination of high mintage but rare high-grade survivors makes it both accessible and exciting to hunt. So now you're probably itching to start looking for one yourself. Here's how to get started. Check for the D min mark. It should be just to the left of the torch on the reverse. Make sure it's clearly visible and not faded or missing. Look for sharp detail, especially on Roosevelt's hair, ear, and the reverse torch. The better the strike, the better the value. Search for mint errors, any doubling, off-center strikes, die cracks, or missing elements can dramatically increase value. Consider professional grading. If you believe you've found a high-quality coin, getting it graded by PCGS or NGC can add authentication and boost its selling price. Be patient and persistent. The best finds often come from those who search consistently. Grab some rolls of dimes, sort through old jars, and never overlook that ordinary change. So there you have it. The incredible story of the 1984 Roosevelt Liberty. 1 dime. A coin born from the legacy of one of America's most influential presidents. A coin minted in massive numbers, yet harboring rare treasures among its ranks. A coin that might just be sitting in your house, waiting to be discovered. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone new to the world of coin collecting, the thrill of the hunt is real, and this 1984 dime could be your golden ticket. With a potential market value of up to $99 or more, this is one coin you should never ignore. Make sure you like this video if you learned something new, subscribe to the channel for more in-depth coin videos, and comment below if you've ever found a 1984 Roosevelt dime or any rare coins in your change. Who knows, your story could be featured in our next video, where we uncover the secrets hiding in your pocket change. Have you ever looked closely at a simple dime and wondered, could this be worth more than 10 cents? Well, what if I told you that a common-looking coin, like the 1986 Roosevelt dime, might just be the hidden gem in your coin collection? Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story behind the 1986 Liberty 1 dime, a coin that not only reflects a powerful piece of American history, but can also fetch some surprising money in the collector's market today. One of these coins recently sold for $77, and we're here to tell you why. So grab your magnifying glass, coin holders, and a hot drink because we're about to take you on a journey into the world of Roosevelt dimes, rare coin errors, and the fascinating history of American money. Let's get started. To truly understand the significance of the 1986 Roosevelt dime, we need to go back, all the way to the 1940s. The Roosevelt dime was first minted in 1946, just a year after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. His image was chosen for the dime as a tribute to his leadership through the Great Depression and World War II, and also because of his tireless efforts in founding the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio, a disease he personally battled. Before Roosevelt graced the dime, the Mercury dime had been in circulation since 1916, featuring the image of Liberty with a winged cap, often mistaken for the Roman god Mercury. But Roosevelt's legacy was so impactful that Congress quickly approved replacing the design. And thus, the Roosevelt dime was born, featuring a left-facing profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, and on the reverse, a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Since 1946, the dime has remained largely unchanged in appearance, but the metal composition has shifted. Originally made of 90% silver, the Roosevelt dime transitioned in 1965 to a copper-nickel-clad composition due to the rising cost of silver. And this brings us to the year 1986. 1986 was a dynamic year in the United States. Ronald Reagan was president, the Space Shuttle Challenger made headlines, and Americans were living through a time of rapid technological and cultural change. And while all this was happening, the United States Mint in Denver, Colorado, was producing millions of Roosevelt dimes. The 1986 Roosevelt dime, as marked by the small D mint mark beneath Roosevelt's neck, was struck in the Denver Mint. That year, over 668 million of these dimes were minted. On the surface, this might make it sound like the coin is too common to be valuable. But not so fast. There's more to this story. While hundreds of millions were struck, only a tiny fraction have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. And even fewer have survived with mint errors or unique variations that make them highly desirable to collectors. So why are collectors paying $77 or more for a coin that's supposed to be worth just 10 cents? It comes down to condition, rarity, and demand. Condition, grade matters. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, and those that reach the top, known as MS67, MS68, or even MS69, are incredibly rare for this coin. A coin in near-perfect condition, untouched by circulation, with strong strike, no blemishes, and brilliant luster, can be worth dozens of times its face value. Mint errors. Some 1980-60 dimes have been found with striking errors. These include off-center strikes, double die errors, broad strikes, missing clad layers, and die clashes. These errors are not only rare but also highly collectible. An error coin in good condition can skyrocket in value. Low population in high grades. According to professional coin grading companies like PCGS and NGC, the number of 1980-60 dimes that have been preserved in high mint state grades is relatively low. This means the supply is limited, and for collectors trying to complete Roosevelt dime sets in high grade, the demand pushes up the price. Though over 668 million were minted, most 1980-60 Roosevelt dimes have been heavily circulated. These coins went through cash registers, vending machines, pockets, and piggy banks, collecting scratches, nicks, and wear along the way. As a result, dimes in high condition are scarce. The reality is that most circulated examples of this coin are still only worth their face value, 10 cents. But when a coin is pulled from a mint set, stored safely, and graded highly, it enters a completely different league of value. And let's not forget the few rare errors that have slipped past quality control. These dimes are often spotted by sharp-eyed collectors and can sell for hundreds depending on the nature and rarity of the error. Let's talk real numbers. In recent years, collectors have paid up to $77 for pristine examples of the 1980-60 Roosevelt dime graded MS-67 or higher. A few rare mint-era coins have even fetched higher premiums at auction houses and online marketplaces like eBay, Heritage Auctions, and Great Collections. For example, a 1980-60 Roosevelt dime graded MS-68 by PCGS sold for $77. A 1980-60 with off-center strike error sold for over $120. A coin with a missing clad layer, showing the underlying copper core, went for more than $200. It's important to remember that prices can fluctuate based on demand, the coin's eye appeal, and the condition. But this is solid proof that even a modern coin like this can command serious attention from collectors. Now here's the exciting part. How do you know if your 1980-60 Roosevelt dime is valuable? Here's what to look for. Mintmark. Check that it has the D below Roosevelt's neck, indicating the Denver Mint. Condition. Use a magnifier. Is the coin sharp, shiny, and free from scratches or dings? The better the condition, the better the chances. Errors. Look for doubling in the lettering or date, missing elements, off-center strikes, or anything that looks unusual. Luster and strike. Strong strike and original mint luster can indicate a high-grade coin. If you suspect your dime is special, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS. Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC. Numismatic Guarantee Company. A professional grade can significantly increase the coin's value and verify its authenticity. Who would have thought a simple 1980-60 dime, a coin you might pass by every day, could be worth up to $77 or more? Coin collecting is full of surprises, and the 1980-60 Roosevelt dime is a great example of how history, rarity, and condition all play a role in turning small change into real value. Whether you're a casual hobbyist or a serious numismatist, always keep an eye on your dimes. Because the next time you check your change, you might just uncover a small piece of history, and maybe even a small fortune. So go ahead, check your coin jars, your drawers, your pockets. That Liberty 1 dime from 1986 with a little D might be worth way more than 10 cents. If you found this video helpful or learned something new today, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss out on valuable coin stories like this one. Drop a comment below and let us know if you've ever come across a valuable dime in your collection. We love hearing from you. History lovers and treasure hunters, you've just stumbled upon a truly fascinating tale that might be hiding right in your own pocket. Today, we're diving deep into one of America's most iconic and often overlooked coins, the 1998 P. Roosevelt dime, also known as the Liberty 1 dime, and trust me, this small silver-toned coin holds more value than meets the eye. Could a coin worth just 10 cents turn into a massive payday of thousands? Or even millions? Let's explore the history, value, errors, and mystery surrounding this gem of a coin. So, grab your magnifying glass and your coin jars, and let's uncover the hidden secrets of the 1998 Roosevelt dime. You won't believe how much this little piece of metal could be worth in today's market. A brief glance at the Roosevelt dime. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. It was a tribute to honor his legacy, especially his role in founding the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio, which he himself battled throughout his life. Since then, the Roosevelt dime has become a staple of American pocket change, but few people stop to appreciate its design, its history, or its hidden worth. The 1998 Roosevelt dime, minted in Philadelphia, is part of this long-standing tradition. Carrying the P mint mark just to the right of Roosevelt's neck, this coin is often dismissed as ordinary, but for the trained eye, some 1998 Roosevelt dimes are far from ordinary. Design and symbolism. Let's take a closer look at the design. On the obverse side, we see the striking profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left. The words "Liberty" and "I in God We Trust" are inscribed, symbolizing America's enduring faith and values. Below the chin, the year 1998 is boldly marked, and to the right is the small but vital P mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. On the reverse side of the coin, we find a torch flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right. These elements represent liberty, peace, and strength, foundational principles of the United States. At the top, we see the inscription United States of America, and at the bottom, the words "one dime," declaring its denomination. The Latin phrase "e pluribus unum," meaning "out of many one," ties it all together. Simple, elegant, powerful, this coin carries more symbolism than most people realize. Mintage and circulation details now. Here's where things get interesting. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.2 billion Roosevelt dimes in 1998. That's right, over a billion dimes were struck that year with the P mint mark. So you may be asking, how can something so common be valuable? The answer lies in condition, rarity, errors, and collector demand. Even though the 1998 Roosevelt dime was mass-produced, not all coins are created equal. Most of these coins went into circulation and were used for everyday purchases. But some coins were struck with exceptional precision, while others left the mint with unusual and highly collectible mint errors. What makes the 1998 Roosevelt dime valuable? Let's break it down. Mint condition and grading: coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS67 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, can fetch significant premiums. While a regular 1998 dime in pocket change might only be worth its face value, a coin in flawless condition can sell for $50 to $200, and sometimes even more. Full torch or full bands designation: collectors highly value Roosevelt dimes with a full torch, also known as full bands on the reverse. This means the horizontal lines of the torch are fully visible and unbroken, a sign of a strong, clean strike. Coins with full torch detail in high grades can command prices over $300, especially if they're slabbed and certified. Rare errors and die varieties: now here's where things really heat up. Some 1998 dimes have been discovered with double die obverse (DDO) errors, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, or even clipped planchets. These kinds of errors are not only rare, but they're highly sought after by collectors. A known error coin from this year recently sold at auction for over $1,200 because of a dramatic off-center strike. Another double die specimen fetched nearly $900. That's a massive return for a coin originally worth just 10 cents. The big money Roosevelt dimes. True stories of huge payouts. Now you might be wondering, has anyone actually gotten rich from a 1998 dime? There are reports in the coin community of a specimen-grade 1998 Roosevelt dime selling for over $34,000 due to its rarity, condition, and being the finest known example of its type. This coin was a perfectly struck example with blazing luster, full bands, and no visible contact marks, a true museum-quality piece. Coins like this don't just pop up every day, but they do exist, and they prove that a dime in the right condition, with the right features, can be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. Market value today, April 2025 as of right now. The average 1998 P. Roosevelt dime found in circulation is still worth around 10 cents to 25 cents if it's worn. But coins in brilliant uncirculated condition with high grades or special errors can reach values of up to $34,000 or more for rare specimen grade dimes with unique qualities. It just takes one coin in the right condition to change everything. How to find and identify a valuable 1998 P dime. So, how do you know if you've got one of these valuable gems in your hand? Here are a few tips. Check the date and mint mark. You want to see 1998 and the small p on the obverse. Inspect the coin's condition. Is it shiny and free from scratches? Is it uncirculated? Examine the torch on the reverse. Look for full bands, clear, defined lines. Use a magnifying glass. Look for doubling on the lettering or date, or signs of errors. Weigh the coin. If the weight is off, it may have been struck on the wrong planchet. Get it graded. If you suspect it's special, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Final thoughts. Don't overlook the little guys. The 1998 P. Roosevelt dime may be small, but it packs a mighty punch. With history embedded in its metal and value hidden in its details, this dime is proof that treasure can still be found in everyday places. In your change jar, your wallet, or tucked away in an old drawer. So, next time you come across a dime, don't just toss it aside. Take a second look. Because that ordinary-looking 1998 P. Roosevelt dime could be extraordinary, and maybe even worth tens of thousands of dollars. Fellow coin collectors, history buffs, and treasure hunters. If you've ever looked at your spare change and thought it was just pocket filler, then today's video is going to blow your mind. Because tucked inside everyday circulation is a coin so easily overlooked, yet packed with history, design excellence, and stunning value. I'm talking about none other than the 2018 P. Roosevelt dime, the Liberty One dime that could be worth as much as $757 in today's collector's market. Yes, you heard that right. A dime, a 10-cent coin, from just a few years ago, potentially worth hundreds of dollars. But how? Why? And what makes it so valuable? Well, buckle up because we're going deep into the epic story of the Roosevelt dime, from its historical roots to the incredible journey that led to this modern marvel being a top-tier treasure in the eyes of collectors everywhere. Let's dive in. The history of the Roosevelt dime. 1:15 To understand the true worth of the 2018 P. Roosevelt dime, we have to take a step back and look at where it all began. The Roosevelt dime was first issued in 1946, just 1 year after the passing of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt wasn't just a monumental leader during the Great Depression and World War II. He also played a key role in founding the March of Dimes, a campaign to combat polio, a disease he himself suffered from. It was only fitting that his legacy be immortalized on the 10-cent piece. Before Roosevelt's portrait graced the dime, it was the winged Liberty Head dime, commonly called the Mercury dime, which had been in circulation since 1916. But with the nation in mourning and a deep desire to honor FDR, the U.S. Mint moved quickly. In a matter of just months, Chief Engraver John R. Sinek designed a new obverse bearing the profile of Roosevelt. The reverse of the coin features a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength, values Roosevelt championed throughout his presidency. The Roosevelt dime has been in continuous production ever since, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Over the decades, it has seen shifts in minting technology, changes in materials, and evolving collector interest. Yet, the heart of the coin remains the same, a tribute to one of America's most enduring leaders. The rise of the 2018 P dime, 3:40 now. Fast forward to the year 2018. At first glance, the 2018 P Roosevelt dime looks like just another modern dime. It has the same core design. It's clad in copper and nickel, with a reeded edge and a small, clean finish. It was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which we know by the P mint mark, located just to the right of Roosevelt's neck. But here's the twist: in a sea of dimes minted every year, the 2018 P has emerged as a surprising standout. Why? A number of factors play into it. First, while over 2.7 billion dimes were minted that year, very few were struck with the high precision and flawless quality that collectors demand. Most of them were banged up in circulation or hit the streets with nicks, scratches, and contact marks that dropped their value immediately. But some, just a tiny, rare few, were preserved in near-perfect condition, graded MS-68 or higher by reputable services like PCGS and NGC. And it's these exceptional examples that fetch astronomical prices at auctions, coin shows, and online marketplaces. Rarity and grade. 5:30. Here's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about age. It's about condition, scarcity, eye appeal, and demand. For the 2018 P Roosevelt dime, coins graded MS-68 full bands are extremely scarce. What does full bands mean? It refers to the horizontal lines on the torch on the reverse of the coin. When they are fully visible and sharply struck, it signals a superior strike quality. This dramatically increases the coin's desirability. Collectors and investors alike pay top dollar for coins like these because they know they're buying a piece of perfection. And that's how this little 2018 dime, once just 10 cents, skyrocketed to a market price of $757 or even higher depending on the buyer's enthusiasm. What makes this coin special? 7:05. Let's break down what makes the 2018 P Roosevelt dime such a collector's dream. Modern rarity. Even in modern issues, high-grade examples can be hard to find, especially when preserved from the day they were minted. Historical legacy. Every Roosevelt dime is a tribute to a legendary American figure and carries patriotic symbolism on its reverse. Minting excellence, full bands, high strike clarity, and minimal flaws make certain examples extremely desirable. Surging collector interest. More and more collectors are turning their attention to modern coins, and they're paying premium prices for pristine pieces. Hidden value in circulation. It's possible to still find these in pocket change, rolls, or coin jars, making the thrill of discovery part of the adventure. The $757 market value, 8:45. Now, let's talk about the big number. That $757 valuation. Coins graded at MS-68 with full bands designation by PCGS or NGC have sold for as much as $757 or more in recent auctions. That's a 7,570% increase from face value. This kind of appreciation is rare, but not unheard of in the numismatic world. In fact, some experts believe that this value could climb even higher in the future. As fewer pristine examples are found and demand increases, prices can spike. Just imagine, the dime in your drawer right now might be worth hundreds in just a few short years. How to spot a valuable 2018 P dime? 10:15. So, how do you know if you've got the golden ticket dime in your collection? Here's what to look for. Minmark, P, for Philadelphia. Right near Roosevelt's neck. Sharp details, especially on the torch. Look for full, crisp bands. No visible damage. No scratches, nowhere. Perfect luster. Mirror-like surfaces. Brilliant, uncirculated finish. Get it graded. If you suspect you've got something special, send it to a professional grading service. And remember, coin rolls from banks, change machines, and coin jars are all fair game. Check them carefully. You never know what treasure might be hiding inside. Why collecting modern coins matters. 12 a.m. Lot of collectors focus only on older coins, but that's a mistake. Modern coins like the 2018 P Roosevelt dime are becoming the new frontier for serious numismatists. They're accessible, exciting, and often come with surprises in terms of rarity and value. And as the hobby continues to grow with younger collectors, coins like the 2018 P will be the legends of tomorrow. Closing, 13:30. So there you have it. The 2018 P Liberty 1 dime, a coin that most people would ignore or toss in a tip jar, could be hiding a secret fortune. With a current market value of up to $757, this modern marvel proves once again that treasure is hiding in plain sight. Check your pockets. Check your coin jars. You just might be holding on to one of the most valuable modern dimes in U.S. history. If you found this video exciting or informative, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on more incredible coin stories and collector tips. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare Roosevelt dime, or if you want us to cover a specific coin next.